This week's episode was brought to you by Frank, Anna Scott, No Surrealist Bob, and Magni Danisjold. Thank you, Frank, Anna Scott, No Surrealist Bob, and Magni Danisjold. It's with the generous support of listeners like you that our bunch of philosopher wizard rabbits have enough wax to start producing an enormous stockpile of etherically charged positive thinking candles that have been finely engineered by astrotheological pyromaniacs in the 10th dimension to increase novelty and destabilize anti-magic inhibition fields produced by day jobs. If you'd like to help us stockpile enough candles to light the Archon's astral telecommunications system on fire, or just hear the second half of this episode, then please visit www.patreon.com/thewholerabbit, where your monthly donation of just $5 will not only get you the extended long play format edition of this episode specifically designed for our elite agents in the field, which are all conveniently browsable from right within your Spotify app. And if that were not enough, I'm going to send you a 5x5 high quality square shaped extra sticky on one side vinyl sticker, which shows the world that you don't care what they think, because nobody will know what to think about the sticker. But that's not all. Oh no, dear listener. You'll even be given access to our super duper secret Discord server, which is a sacred grove where we eat popcorn and play Scrabble in the moonlight, drinking in bitter agony as Cagliastro trounces the competition with 70-point word scores. God! In this week's episode, we're joined once again by the ferocious Tim Hacker, intrepid creator of the Cryptic Chronicles podcast, crypticchronicles.com, with yet another deep dive into yet another satanic cult. One that lurks unsuspectingly in the forgotten shadows of places seemingly safe as YouTube. What starts as an innocent diatribe about positive thinking slowly morphs into a ritual of blood sacrifice, which, if you are so unwitting as to perform yourself, will find you swarmed with a faceless multitude of others who were also foolish enough to do the same. In the free side of the show, we discuss the blood over intent cult, how it recruits, spreads its dark form of ritualism online, and its charismatic leader who has since gone into hiding. In the extended show, we dive into some of the occult framework which makes blood magic work, including the works of Rudolph Steiner with his highly controversial words about what blood's connection is to intelligence, psychic activity, and colonialism. We also talk about flat earth and breast milk. Thank you, everybody, and enjoy the show.
You know, my friend really changed when she became a vegetarian. It's like I'd never seen her before.
He.
And then after that, I realized I'm actually afraid of dying alone. So I figured I'd start a cult and take a few people with me.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's the best way to become a god on the astral plane.
You know, I read a novel about a cult that sacrifices books.
Oh?
It was a real page burner.
Yeah, I was going to say, do they burn them?
Oh, wow.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Whole Rabbit, where we don't just discuss secret satanic Nazi infiltrators who commit their nefarious crimes, disguised as both ultra-left and ultra-right-wing groups to secretly hasten the collapse of civilization as we know it. Nay, we also explore the other end of the satanic rainbow, where, lurking beneath the surface of innocent, positive thinking, new age flat earth type videos on YouTube is a viral satanic cult of blood sacrifice and messianic utopianism enforced by a swarm of digital demons possessed by Satan himself to fanatically harass ex-members and the innocent alike, because this week we're discussing the YouTube cult Blood Over Intent, written and prepared by none other than Mr. Tim Hacker of the Cryptic Chronicles podcast, crypticchronicles.com.
YOLO.
I'm your host, Luke Madrid, also known as Hack Rabbit. I'm joined this week by our other co-hosts, the daring dog of disaster mitigation, Mari Sama.
This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill.
And the interdimensional dinosaur enjoyer, Cagliastro.
Hello. I love dinosaurs.
Oh, this is an accurate title, you'd say, for you.
It's pretty accurate. I'm the Hecasaurus Rex.
Dinosaur enjoyer.
Aw. Do you like dino nuggies?
I currently have those in my freezer, yes. I do.
Wow, you're the real deal.
We've talked about
Yep.
this, how dino nuggies are the secret of alchemy, if you think
It's
about it.
true.
Now, full disclosure, we have a full disclosure every now and then. I'm going through a double family emergency, which interrupted my normal writing schedule, which at this point, God or the devil or whoever writes this show is working through the goodwill and charity of folks in the community, like Tim Hacker. So it's both his fault and charitable nature that is bringing us 2 satanic cult episodes, pretty much back to back. Are you gearing up for an ultra right-wing Templar exorcist phase, Tim? What's going on?
Well, I'm politically agnostic, but after researching all of these like crazy cults I've been doing lately, some of these dudes definitely need a crusade called upon them.
You're like scratching little crucifixes on your hollow tip bullets and your...
Well, see, the Blood Over Intent cult isn't as like blatantly evil as the Order of Nine Angles, but at the same time, it's like kind of cringe evil. Have you ever heard of the Love Has One cult? It's kind of like them on cringe level.
No, I haven't.
Oh, we'll definitely do them sometime then.
Now, for this particular cult, it sounds like you actually have some personal experience with them, or you've at least encountered them in the wild.
Yes. So this was a long ass time ago. I'll get into that in a bit once we start. Are we ready to go?
Yeah, tell us about this bizarre satanic internet blood cult, Tim.
Okay, so of all the cults that have existed, few have been as utterly bizarre as the ones that formed with the rise of the internet. I'm sure we're all aware of this.
Like this one.
Yeah, the World Wide Web has allowed people from all over the world to interact with one another with just the click of a button. So suddenly, niche ideas that would be laughed off like anywhere else, pre-internet society, has pretty much become abundant.
I mean, this is what we replaced religion with, and this is what we get.
We've seen cults like Heaven's Gate, and, I just mentioned the Love Has One cult, but today we are discussing a particularly vexing cult called Blood Over Intent.
Blood over intent.
Now, most cults throughout history gain new members by isolating them from their former community and friends, sometimes in bizarre communes, or even taking them away to like purchased land in South America, drink the Kool-Aid. Oh, yeah. Kind of a deal.
Jim Jones, People's Temple. We'll have to talk about them too someday.
But Blood Over Intent is unique because it basically exists mostly on YouTube. This internet blood magic cult can also go under the radar, unlike a lot of other culty online groups, because at base value, like you were just saying, it looks like just kind of empowering new age stuff.
You think Mr. Beast is in on it?
I think that he would have cringed so hard, his face would collapse in on itself and he would cease to exist and create a black hole.
Also,
You know,
he
there's-
has his own cult.
He is possibly the Antichrist, and I've heard some
Ooh.
compelling arguments. Like, the description of the beast in Revelation, how it's like, the face of a lion and the feet of a grandma, and it's like this crazy, that's his symbol,
Dude, he makes that face all the time, like he's grimacing.
It's the
Smiles.
smile where it doesn't reach your eyes. It subconsciously unsettles you. Because
Yeah, it
that's the
looks like he's-
smile of a sociopath.
Yeah, like he's baring his teeth at you or something.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys.
We subconsciously are bothered by people when their smiles don't reach their eyes.
Unless you purposefully put somebody like that in front of children so they become used to it, so they stop being able to detect it.
Well, I think that's just part of his shtick, and he didn't even know that there was a negative connotation to it. Maybe he knows now, I don't know. But I used to have friends in middle school that would smile like that.
Really?
For like high school. Yeah, dude. They just smile just with their teeth and nothing else. I did that sometimes, just like a social thing.
Have you ever been the one on acid while everybody else is on Molly? That's what it's like. It's horrifying.
What a wonderful analogy. Anyway, the content comes from a whole bunch of different creatures, and many of them seem genuinely interested in bettering people's lives. Like a lot of these YouTubers, they seem like the new age guru type of people, They seem also super naive, a lot of them, just eager to believe in something beyond mundane life, but still many seem to have good intentions regardless.
I've perused these videos online. I used to watch Greg Giles. There was a whole market for it. It sounds like this came a little bit after the 2012 era. It's a little bit darker, though. Continue, please.
These days, it's harder to find, but even back in its heyday, you had to delve a little bit deeper into the movement before you really got to the darker stuff. After baptizing yourself in its depths, you came across some of the most bizarre conspiracy theories imaginable, and that's saying something. And when you get to the leader/founder of the movement, you legit find one of the most batshit crazy, unhinged people you may ever come across.
Now, let me get this straight, Tim. You really had to scour the internet to find any memory of this guy.
Yeah, like a lot of it is just scrubbed, not only of him, but all of the other Blood Over Intent people. Like back in the day in its heyday, it was everywhere. Nowadays, it's It's kind of hard to find.
So you're perusing, and this person's telling you, like, oh, you got to think positive. You know, the universe is not what they told you.
When I first came across this cult, it was back in 2015 or 2016, sometime in there. And I literally asked myself out loud after it was over, what the fuck did I just watch? Wish I could remember any of the information regarding this channel. I don't remember the YouTuber's name. I don't remember his channel. Probably long ago it was deleted and it hasn't been around for a long time. But despite how out there it was, it definitely left an impression on me for all these years. I've thought about it once in a while. At the time that I first watched it, though, I was not naive like a lot of these people are who get into this stuff, but I definitely was more impressionable. It didn't get to me. Like, despite that being like impressionable back then concerning esoteric topics, because I wasn't as baptized as I am these days, I still couldn't bring myself to believe anything the guy in the video said. Keep in mind too that this was back before YouTube became like censorship heavy, you know, and truly became a tool of the machine. Back then it was still much more Wild West. So videos like this could even find themselves being promoted in the algorithm naturally, being so, you know, like you guys probably saw these videos back then.
Yeah, I used to watch a lot of schizophrenics rambling about stuff because I found it very interesting.
Talk about buttered sausage, where it comes from, what it does.
And I found a guy that thought he was a wizard and had his like own set of like mathematic formulas and stuff to prove the afterlife. I don't know. It was just really, it was a wild ride back then.
Dude, it was Wild West. It was before the apocalypse. So it was the golden age of YouTube back then. Anyway, the blood over intense stuff in the video I was watching didn't even pop up until the end of the video.
You mean like, so it's all like positive thinking and then at the end of the video, that's when all the blood comes out.
That's when the blood over intense stuff happened at the very end of the video. Like I remember it very distinctly because it left such an impression on me. Before, like at the beginning, like the first quarter of the video, I'm like, this is kind of awesome. And then he starts talking about flat earth stuff. And I'm like, we'll get into that as well. The guy had some pretty out there conspiratorial ideas about the world. And they were somewhat new to me. Like in the past, I still have always loved this weird stuff about life and conspiracy theories. But this stuff, I would have never given the topic the time of day in the past. But the spiritual discovery I was going through allowed my consciousness to kind of entertain the ideas, even if I didn't accept them. It was like one of my awakening periods of spiritual growth. You know what I mean? He talked about how the world we live in is a lie, which is true from a certain point of view. But this guy meant the world wasn't real in a very literal sense. He said all we know from history and science was spoon-fed lies to brainwash us and keep humanity imprisoned. Like I said, I think basically everybody has that gut feeling that something isn't right about the world at one point or another in their lives. And this guy was really bonking at that funny bone of mine.
See, that's another reason this show exists, because when you're about to enter Chapel Perilous, or you just get shoved in, really, and the doors locked behind you, you're looking for anything to guide you. This is where you encounter that weird stuff. Because when you're first getting into it, you attract things to yourself that you can wrap your head around, or that sound like they're in the ballpark of something that you've experienced. And that's when you're the most open, and that's when you're gonna get exposed to all the craziness that's out there, all the bonkers ideas. And the reason you stick around a little longer than maybe you should is because there's a little bit of truth to it.
For real. But the guy's conspiratorial rhetoric drew me in and fascinated me with all the unknown possibilities of what he said implied. But then he went to places that I couldn't follow. Like I said, he said that the world was actually flat, space wasn't real, and all around us were signs of our fake reality. He even said that exit signs and buildings were secret codes telling us to escape, like literally, and that the only way to get out was through a giant hole in Antarctica.
That's at least 50% true.
I like how he mentions flat Earth, but then it turns into hollow Earth randomly.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't make fun of flat Earth people usually in any of podcasts I'm on or talking about any of that stuff, so don't get me wrong. To me, the Earth is round and we're on a globe in space, even though this is just one dimension of reality. On top of every other is like layers of an onion. I just can't believe in the flat Earth. Sorry.
If the Earth is flat, I have been indoctrinated into the globetard perspective my entire life. I went to space camp as a kid multiple times, and then I became a space camp counselor, and I also played Kerbal Space Program. I've been so indoctrinated into globe Earth. And, you know...
Yeah, but the math doesn't lie, though.
Well, they don't believe in that.
I understand why people think it's flat. It looks flat.
Yeah, I mean, I give them the benefit of the doubt, like, oh, honey, you're trying. Gold star.
So their heart's in the right place is why I don't give them too much shit.
I mean, we could all just be on a computer program in the Matrix, and it really is stored flat on a code. But when it is projected into the hologram of this existence where we live, I'm fairly certain it's a sphere. I could be wrong. I don't think I am. That's the one thing I don't think I'm wrong about, but I could be. It's just everything else out there looks spherical.
Yeah, so up to that point in the video, I was still enjoying myself, but he lost my giving him the benefit of the doubt after that. To be honest, the flat earth conspiracy stuff, it just doesn't make any sense to me because such a big secret would be impossible to contain, considering like how flawed, corrupt, and self-serving the majority of humanity can be at times. It would be impossible to lie about it. Like, it would make more sense to me if like the opposite were going down, that the world was actually like a floating ball in space and the powers that be lie about the world being flat. Like, them trying to do that would make more sense. The video started making all these connections to the bigger picture of escaping the false reality. Very Gnostic stuff. However, that's just a dystopia that's unlike anything humanity has ever known. A dystopia I can't see enough evidence for to be convinced of. Humans are too incompetent. People who believe in flat earth theory, in my opinion, don't take me too seriously if you believe it, I respect your beliefs, but they're giving humans too much credit. They think too highly of them. Like, from my point of view, it's just a shifting balance of chaos that defines humanity, not the absolute order that would be required to pull such a stunt off. Not to mention all the science stuff, but Rabbit King and I could go on about this all day. We're not here to debunk flat earth theory.
Yeah, I mean, they're finding stuff that looks like human-made objects, structures, buildings on Mars. And the funny thing is, it's not classified. Yeah. It's just in the enormous stack of photos that's just been hosted on the NASA website since they were taken. It's just, you have to be that weird nerd that looks through every picture, and you have to be the one to sit there and be like, that shouldn't be there. And then you post it on Twitter and everyone agrees with you, and then that's it. That's all that happens, because nobody cares. There's buildings and pyramids on Mars. That's what I'm saying. And it's
awesome.
They can't tell us because then it'll mess up our timelines.
Well, even then, I can't knock anybody for even exploring these ideas or taking them seriously, because question everything is extremely important.
Yeah, and their heart's in the right place.
Okay, but where does the blood and Satan come in, Tim?
Haha. So let me continue. So this guy was going down a path I couldn't intellectually follow, and it's at the end of the video that the real kicker is. It's then that he introduces blood over intent as a form of freeing oneself from our prison. I forget the exact words, but like they all make this mantra, like you could call it a spell, I guess. It goes something like,
men and women all around the world are pledging themselves to freedom by performing the ritual of blood over intent, freeing themselves from the imposed imprisonment we've been tricked into against our will. People all over the world are pledging themselves to blood over intent so that everyone is free.
Yeah, it went something like that. Then he gave the instructions on how to perform the blood ritual. At this point, the video was over, like basically over, and I had incredibly mixed feelings. For one, it seemed ridiculous, a lot of the stuff that he said, but at the same time, something stuck with me and would not leave me alone. For years, I thought about that video, and I still do once in a while. Even now, it wasn't until many years after I saw this video that I became aware of the more extensive blood over intent movement as a whole and the darker aspects of this internet cult.
So the weird thing I got into was a guy who called himself Adam Pants, and he said he had an inner working of how the Illuminati worked. And the thing that stuck with me, he said, all you Reiki practitioners, you're not able to heal people. Only God can heal people. And I felt really bad about doing Reiki for like a long time. So this is like that, it's like one of those things that sticks with you early part of your practice, And when it's all on the internet, like you don't have to necessarily go live on some compound to be part of a cult. It could just be like a cult of personality or a weird viral thing that people do. Like why do people do challenges online? It's like a cultural thing.
Yeah, the entire cult revolves around YouTube videos.
Can't spell culture without cult.
And it's completely decentralized, but the members have many connecting factors in common. You'll find, well, not anymore, but you used to be able to find tens of thousands of videos on YouTube by searching the keywords blood over intent. You can still find a decent amount these days, but not nearly as much. Before the adpocalypse, you may even have found videos like these popping into your feed naturally, just out of organic popularity. These days, though, none of these videos are monetized for the most part, and you have to go looking for them in order to find them to pop up on your screen. So they exist as a niche subculture kind of thing these days of censorship, in like these days of censorship.
I would imagine self-harm and blood itself is probably totally banned now.
Yeah,
it probably was then. It just, they had no one to really filter it, but now they got AI.
No fun allowed. So in order to become a part of the cult, you have to perform the blood over intent ritual while recording and then post it to YouTube for all the other members to see. After doing this, you are essentially part of the cult. It's just that easy. Initiation.
Boom.
Sorry, dog's barking.
Holy shit. So there's a storm rolling in if I blackout, it's probably the power.
And even though I said there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of search results for blood over intent, over time, a lot of these videos have either been deleted by the user itself or removed by YouTube. Regardless, it is still a thing, just tiny compared to how it used to be. And whenever people would make these videos, the comments would always be flooded with sayings like blood thick, crap like that.
So what do they actually do for the initiation ritual?
The primary ritual for which they are named concerns a short message, prayer, or intention written by the individual. They then cut themselves, or more usually, prick their finger and wipe the blood on a paper. Keep in mind, all of this is videotaped. They drop their blood onto the paper while reciting an invocation or statement of intent. The vast majority of the time, the statement is going to be the following, or something similar. Mari?
I intend to bring forth heaven on earth for the benefit of all.
The statement can be diverse, though, and even the personal desires of the individual performing the ritual. The statement is usually done kind of like a mantra, but is usually repetitive. And as you can imagine, many of these get really cringe really quick.
I intend to bring heaven on earth and release all from bondage.
Sounds pretty beneficent, right?
It does.
Not for people who like to be tied up.
Well, it does have this, like, we'll shed blood for the coming of the new era. Like, it's...
Or like, yeah, self-sacrifice in order to bring good to all.
They're trying to end the world with blood magic.
At the same time, it sounds a lot just like normal religion, you know? Like, we have to sacrifice to bring about the greater good.
There's actually some Christian themes in this shit, too. Like, the group is obsessed with the number 144,000. This actually originates from abstract Christian conclusions that allegedly are the number of people who will be saved during the rapture at the beginning of the apocalypse.
Whoa.
Are you familiar with rapture lore?
I think it goes back to the Old Testament that there's so much evil in the world, but God doesn't destroy the earth because there's at least 144,000 good apples, and it's these good apples that make it so everyone else gets to live.
If it ever goes below that, that's when another apocalypse happens, like the flood.
And so this is a very popular motif for cults to like latch onto.
Oh, tons of them do this.
Yeah.
So in rapture lore, the chosen will be whisked away to paradise before stuff gets really bad, and they will leave behind everyone who is not chosen to suffer. There's actually a whole book series about this called the Left Behind books. They're a Christian novel series depicting these events. I actually read a lot of these books when I was a youth, and I can tell you that they are definitely pretty good, and I'm not ashamed of that. They remind me of The Walking Dead back when it was actually good, only it's like leftover Christians in the post-apocalypse world who were not chosen. So you could still be saved after the 144,000 are taken, but you just live in
These books were extremely popular when I was in high school.
Yeah, dude, I read a lot of them. I think the last one that I read was Apollyon.
The same people who read Tolkien were the ones reading these books, so...
Yes, those books are good. No, I don't care what you think. But a lot of these videos are chameleons, like we were talking about earlier, and it's not immediately obvious that they are blood over intent orientated or originated from their cult. Like, for example, the one I told you about, I saw way back in 2015, 2016. I had no idea that that was like a dark cult thingy. It was only at the end that the blood magic came about. A lot of these videos, they just seem like basically batshit crazy and nonsense. Some of them were good though, like the video that I watched. But most of them, especially the ones that you find these days that have survived, they have all kinds of overlapping conspiracy theories, and when they're not diving right into blood rituals, even these newer videos can still be kind of interesting sometimes. Not gonna lie. You know me, I do love my conspiracy stuff and weird shit. So, guilty pleasure.
I think it's interesting that something that's so magic heavy could spread so wide and so many people could get interested in magic, but there'd be such a low bar for what that even means. Like, what do you consider magic? Like, where do you study it? Like, oh, this is it. This is my path. I'm now blood YouTube magic boy, you know? Like,
I don't think they knew what they were doing, dude.
I think for some reason that makes it work. Like, there's no question in their mind that it's working. You know what I mean? Like, they're convinced, like, this is how, like, because it's the weirdest thing they've ever done. So, of course, it has to be true. And for them, it is. So, I mean, I have some empathy for it. Please, continue.
I do too. So, yeah, a lot of these videos, they do seem pretty well intentioned. And the vast majority who perform the ritual don't know about the shadier side of all this stuff, specifically the creator of Blood Over Intent, who claims to be Satan himself.
This is the part I really want to know, because in any viral anything, it has to start somewhere. And especially when it comes to religion or spirituality, there's always always ahead of the movement, whose twisted imagination the whole thing spills out of. Like the whole rabbit spills out of both of my ears simultaneously, to the point where my neighbors are yelling at me for screaming.
So the founder, his name is Mark Braun, the prophet of blood over intent. He also goes by Quasi Luminous. And he says, that he's the reincarnation of Satan. Whenever a blood ritual is done by a BOI member, it's essentially a blood magic contract with Mark, who will then secure their names in the Satanic Book of Life, one of the 144,000.
Straightforward, very honest. I can appreciate the hustle. You know, this is the thing about cult leaders. You really have like two options. They're either Jesus Christ reincarnation or Satan himself.
Well, it's just interesting because they're always saying, hey, let's bring heaven to earth. But their leader's like, I'm Satan. Like, what?
It's Gnostic. You know, it sounds like the anti-cosmic Satanists. You know what I mean? Like,
Sounds
we still
schizophrenic.
haven't. There's a whole group called the Joy of Satan we haven't ever talked about, and they're like this. It's like the universe itself is evil, and so evil is good and good is evil. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's stupid. So Mark Braun, also known as Quasi Luminous, he has a history of posting all kinds of incoherent rants and videos where he speaks backwards, saying the craziest stuff to anyone who will listen. He often discusses the coming apocalypse and the end time scenarios, which are integral to the cult's beliefs.
He looks like he owns a chain of IKEAs. Like, he looks like a semi-normal person. You know what I mean?
The man has gone on tons of incoherent rants that rarely connect logically and explore a diverse amount of conspiracy theories. Let's listen to this guy talking, shall we?
Let's do it. I'm ready to be converted.
All right, here we go.
I don't want your worship. If I saw you and you like try to bow down before me or something, I'd smack you. Because I would be the one who had to bow down before you. What I'm saying is that if you cross into my threshold of my own, I will kiss your fucking feet. Literally. It's because thrown out of heaven for not worshiping this creation created by your creator. You know, I'm not making this mistake. What I'm saying is that I know I come off like an asshole, but everybody around me, I give them worship, whatever anybody wants, they give worship. Just because I talk this way over the video or the video and rub it in people's faces, that's because it's on everything. There's no way to fuck it up. You know, you'll see the Vatican with the Jesus statue in the fire. It looks like a snake. That's because it's the great dragon Typhon and Sut joined in an androgynous relationship. You'll see the whole mouth of the congregation is in the mouth of the snake. We will leap into the flame, mouth of the snake below you.
He goes on and on a long time.
His coloring looks like he subsists on a diet of like poop.
This dude is straight up Looney Tunes. He reminds me of clients that I have, of people who take a lot of meth.
Oh, well, that's a possibility, actually.
I think that's what he's doing.
Because I've heard this rant before from people who have just stayed up sometimes for like a month straight on meth.
See, they don't have a YouTube channel. That's the big difference here.
They wouldn't last a day before being banned.
Not now, yeah.
So this polarizing figure rose to prominence within fringe spiritual and esoteric communities in the mid-2010s. Through his cryptic YouTube videos, Braun crafted a unique mythology that combined elements of occultism, conspiracy theories, and apocalyptic prophecy. His ideas coalesced around a controversial practice he called blood over intent, BOI, which he presented as a ritualistic key to personal empowerment and the collective awakening of humanity.
Well, I like in the clip, too, he's talking about nobody should be bowing down to anything. You know, any pre-programmed things are essentially lies or fabrications in order to keep you entranced. I don't know. I'm getting kind of like a Christ consciousness thing here, but it's kind of twisted and warped.
Well, see, there's stuff he said where, like you just noticed, he's not wrong.
Right, but it's twisted in some weird way where he comes to a different conclusion than what I'm thinking of when he says these things.
At the risk of sounding like your classic boomer occultist lifeguard, I mean, this is what we talk about, where you have to do the work when you invoke all the spiritual energies, because they don't just puff up your positive parts of yourself. They puff up all the refuse and the extras and the poo-poo. And then, you know, you can get overwhelmed by the refuse, which is why so much of occult practice is like, well, let's get the refuse out of the way, and then we'll start invoking all the light. And so it would make sense that there is some overlap between all the things crazy people say, because they actually are infused with some of the divine wisdom and inspiration.
Yeah.
It's just that divine wisdom and inspiration is exacerbating the parts of them that also get in the way of it.
Yeah, they don't have a filter, or like they're not self-aware enough to filter it properly when they're describing it to another person.
Yeah, their house is just not clean enough.
It's like unearned wisdom causes mental instability.
The awakening process in general can cause a sort of sickness in people. It's like you're walking a fine line between madness and actually enlightenment.
That's a profound statement. I agree. So, though praised by his followers as a visionary leader, Braun has been criticized as a cult-like figure for obvious reasons, accused of manipulating vulnerable individuals with convoluted teachings and dangerous practices. His legacy exemplifies the fine line between spiritual guidance and extremism in the digital age, an age where online cults flourish and spread like a virus. However, little is actually publicly known about Mark Braun, at least his personal background, which has only added to the mystique surrounding him. It is known that he is a plumber and even still has a channel where he posts like his plumbing escapades and adventures too, where he's been seen urinating in the sinks of his clients many times, and he posted to YouTube for some reason.
Classy.
He emerged into online discourse under the pseudonym Quasi Luminous. He began posting videos filled with dense, esoteric jargon, occult symbolism, and sweeping claims about the nature of reality. Braun's delivery was characterized by a distinctive, almost hypnotic cadence, often repeating phrases like,
"It's blood up or shut up,"
and "heaven is coming to earth."
Schizophrenic Duke Nukem.
His videos were often low-tech and featured colorful, chaotic visuals layered with occult diagrams, ancient symbology, and apocalyptic imagery. This unorthodox presentation, combined with his uncompromising rhetoric, attracted a niche but devoted audience.
Hello, everybody. I'm Satan. We're gonna bring heaven to earth by pricking our fingers and saying nice things about the future. Are you ready? It's time to blood up or shut up, because heaven is coming to earth.
Quasi Luminous positioned himself as a self-styled messianic figure, claiming to hold knowledge hidden from the masses by a malevolent elite. His ideas tapped into long-standing conspiratorial narratives, particularly those involving the suppression of spiritual truths by religious and governmental institutions. Over time, his teachings evolved into a grand narrative centering on personal empowerment through a radical symbolic act, the blood over intent ritual. At the core of Quasi Luminous's teachings, the whole thing is just all about the blood over intent ritual, which he describes as spiritual technology for breaking free from the matrix, breaking free of illusion, and realigning with a higher divine purpose. Braun presented BOI as a universal ritual that anyone could perform to awaken their true potential and help bring about what he called heaven on earth. Braun framed the ritual as a form of spiritual rebellion against what he described as an inverted, corrupted reality. He argued that human souls were trapped in a karmic cycle of suffering, perpetuated by parasitic forces, be they demonic entities, archons, or the elite rulers of society. Blood, according to Braun, was a powerful spiritual medium, and by offering it as a token, individuals could transcend the boundaries of this false reality.
See, I can take all the fun out of that and still tell you it's somewhat correct. Oh, let me take a whack at it, because you know who describes this really well?
Who?
Kenneth Grant.
Explain.
I couldn't tell you in exactly which book, like Circles Out of Time or like Beyond the Mauve Zone or one of these. He tells you, like, and it's also the same thing New Age teachers also tell you, which is your beliefs are basically a thought that you think regularly enough. And so if you do something in the ritual chamber that is totally taboo or unusual or against your beliefs, it liberates some of the energy that has gone into maintaining that belief structure. And it's that release of energy which you can use to affect the universe or can like pop you into an alternative state of mind, which I mean, theoretically, it does show you that the things we believe that we take for granted, it's all an illusion on some level. So there's some truth to it, but you know.
Yeah, even novelty to an extent can do this. So it doesn't even really have to be extremely taboo. It can just be something off the wall that you're not usually going to do. It makes sense that wishing light and then performing a blood ritual on top of it, that this juxtaposition almost creates a more intense energy than like, crystals and candles.
I mean, if nothing else, if magic works by affecting your subconscious mind, when you see your own blood,
it's real, yeah.
Like something in you is like, oh my God, pay attention. This is the real thing. This is really happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
So Quasi-Luminous often referred to the ancient concept of the Holy Grail as both a literal and symbolic destination. In his cosmology, the Grail was a physical portal located at the North Pole, the center of like a flat Earth-like realm. This is where the flat Earth comes in, which could lead to eternal life and spiritual freedom. BOI participants were effectively joining Braun in a collective quest to reach the Holy Grail and usher in a new age of enlightenment. Mark Braun's role in the BOI BOI movement was he was both the leader and the prophet. He claimed to be the reincarnation of an archetypal figure associated with rebellion against the status quo, Satan. However, he would have been more accurate by utilizing Lucifer in that manner, in my opinion, which to many occultists is basically like a Prometheus figure, stealing fire from the gods to gift upon his beloved humanity. I mean, even the Mesopotamian Enki would have been better and filled the same type of like archetypal entity. You know what I mean?
Right, because he didn't present himself as an adversary to the people.
Exactly.
He presented himself as a teacher and advocate of the people, like against the powers that be.
Yeah, but he identified himself as Satan. He comes off like the traditional Judeo-Christian sense, but what he was trying to do, if I think he understood or had a wider knowledge of the occult, he should have taken on the adversarial force to the status quo.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were just saying, you know, challenging the false constructs of the material world instead of being like, I'm Satan, which is like, oh, you're just an evil cringe lord, edgelord. Got it. You know, most people would. So his view and therefore his cult's paradigm is like more of a Gnostic demiurge view and all this stuff, which is something that would be lost on the public. So that's why many just turned off whenever he would speak by all of his like Satan rhetoric, if you know what I mean.
Well, that makes sense because if he's more into the Gnostic side of things, if the demiurge is God and it's evil, then the demiurge's Satan would be the good figure.
Yeah, I don't think he had enough knowledge to really like put all that together, in my opinion. I don't know if I'm right on that.
I mean, he's hitting nails every once in a while, but you know, a broken clock is right 2 times a day. So.
Exactly.
Or can be used as a hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that, like what Rabbit King was saying, he got a glimpse of some true enlightened spark of light. It's like the people who take a lot of LSD, but they can't bring it back with them in a way that they can articulate to make sense. And he didn't have enough knowledge to articulate in a way that other esotericists could be like, oh, okay. So he just kind of made his own thing, and he made it in a raw form that was distasteful.
So he's leading a congregation?
Not really.
It's like, it's very anarchist, very loose form, but everybody's kind of pushing towards the same thing. But I don't think he necessarily was like a leader with a compound and telling people what to do.
No, not at all. It's very like decentralized, like I said earlier. I already mentioned the obsession with the number 144,000. The cult has its Rapture Association as well. Well, Braun, in all of this BOI Dogma, he professed to lead the 144,000. In his interpretation, the 144,000 were individuals who would awaken through the BOI ritual and serve as spiritual warriors in the battle to reclaim the earth from parasitic forces. He saw himself as the central figure uniting this prophesied group and guiding them toward the ultimate goal of achieving heaven on earth.
So basically, the plot of The Matrix, but it smells like ramen cups and, period blood.
What? Yeah, okay.
I mean, that's just what I imagine, because he's like, you don't get trench coats. You get top ramen and smelly butts.
Man, you just put some weird imagery in my head just now, man.
That's the top ramen they have in hell. It's cooked in period blood. And then they put an ostrich egg in it.
Yummy.
You know how big an ostrich egg is?
It's huge.
It's at least 1.6 times the size of a normal egg, at least.
Despite his claims of enlightenment, Mark Braun's teachings and practices sparked significant controversy back when he was really popular. Critics accused him of creating a cult-like following, manipulating vulnerable individuals, and promoting a ritual that could lead to harm.
You know, it sounds like these accusations were well-founded. I think it's also funny because it's like vulnerable individuals. Like, how do you know they're vulnerable? Because they're pricking their finger because somebody on the internet told them to. That's why.
And recording it for everybody else.
like if you were on the fence, if like we weren't sure if you were, a vulnerable individual, this is it. That's the test. You failed the test. You're now vulnerable.
And the use of blood in the BOI rituals have raised a lot of concern. Additionally, the requirement to publicly upload the ritual drew a lot of criticism for exposing participants to ridicule or exploitation.
Yeah, I've seen that happen too, where people that have done self-harm before or have a history of it, when they have their spiritual awakening or whatever, and they get into magic, they tend to rely on that as an enabling kind of thing.
You know what I find interesting about this particular topic you've brought to us, Tim? It exemplifies this unspoken assumption we have about, quote, crazy people. And have you ever seen 12 Monkeys? This is what the Brad Pitt character is saying.
Oh,
that
so good.
If we fail to contain their ideas and they get unrestricted access to things like phone and in this case, internet, YouTube specifically, we run the risk of them like spreading their ill-informed thoughts into the world like a form of mental contagion. It's like, we laugh and say that's paranoid, but like, well...
No, It's a true thing to be aware of, because you can bring back knowledge and communicate it the best you can, but it's only going to be to a certain degree. And there's no guarantee or way to verify that everyone that takes in the information is taking it in the proper way, that the communication happens mutually. So there is a huge risk to there being so many open forms of communication when these kind of things happen.
You know what? We talked about this before back in the meme entities episode.
Oh, because then it's like a game of telephone that happens. The information gets lost because people can't translate what the next person is saying about what happened. Yeah.
Memes are selfish genes that want to spread and survive just like anything else. Skeptics also challenged Braun's cosmology, pointing out its inconsistencies and lack of grounding in verifiable evidence.
I mean, you could say the same thing about mainstream religion, but, nobody has a problem when it's those things.
Yeah, it has to be state condoned before it's accepted.
Yeah.
The majority of what he says seems like the ramblings of a madman, like just throwing shit against the wall and see what sticks. His flat earth-like beliefs and reinterpretations of ancient texts were dismissed by many as pseudoscience and conspiracy theories for dumb stupid heads. Psychologists have speculated that the repetitive, almost hypnotic nature of Quasi-Luminous's videos could foster a sense of belonging among followers, particularly those feeling alienated or disillusioned with mainstream religion and society. His teachings, while esoteric, offered a clear path for individuals seeking purpose, a symbolic act that tied personal transformation to a cosmic mission.
There's something to be said for effective cult leaders, including Hitler, for having this special tone in their voice that commands people's attention. There's been some research into this, and I was going to have it ready for the show, but I didn't have time. It'll come up again.
So despite them kind of not being nearly as around anymore, Mark Braun's work as Quasi-Luminous has left a lasting imprint on a niche corner of the internet. While his following remains small compared to mainstream spiritual movements, the blood over intent ritual continues to circulate in fringe esoteric communities. His teachings inspired a wave of imitators, with some adopting his ritualistic practices while deviating from his cosmology. Despite this, the BOA themes remain largely similar overall. Between 2009 and 2012, he made a fake police brutality video claiming to be senselessly beaten by the police over a restraining order dispute. However, police officially stated that Mark was not arrested, nor was he beaten.
I know what happened. It was probably just Britney Spears, and he mistook her for a police officer.
Exactly. Instead, he was actually just taken into custody under the Baker Act, a Florida statute that allows the involuntary confinement of anyone deemed mentally unstable in a way that could cause harm to themselves or others. The police state Mark has a history of mental illness, and the reason he has staples and bandages in the video is because he got up and left the hospital after just having surgery.
Look, Satan doesn't need bed rest. He's a busy guy. He's got stuff to do.
Another officer stated it was confirmed Mark made suicidal threats, so that's why the welfare check was needed.
See, even the devil needs welfare checks sometimes.
And he responded to the officer's statement by saying,
"It doesn't matter what you write. The world is already mine. I can see the reality. I know none of you are safe until I make this world a safe place."
I feel like if you tried to arrest Abraham Hicks mid-channeling, during one of her sessions, she'd say the same thing. She'd say that all of this was actually inside her vortex of creation, and that by feeling unsafe, we are just launching rockets of desire that'll tell the universe what it is we really want, and we just have to allow it to come into being if only we could get out of our own way. It's called positive thinking, Tim, and you know what? Satan's a master at it.
In his Florida neighborhood, Mark is actually pretty well known amongst the population and the police for reasons that somebody would not be very proud of.
Florida man strikes again.
Oh yeah. Those who say that they know him in the area, they say that he's always had issues with substance abuse, and he's basically been known to approach people barely holding back tears, asking for drugs. And one hilarious anecdotal account claims two people claim he was talking to them all crazy, and without a word, he shoved a dime bag of drugs into his butt and just kept on talking like nothing happened, then walked away.
I do it all the time.
Seems legit.
So this guy's got some substance abuse issues. The community said that he'd ride his bike around for hours, sometimes up to 12 hours a day, and he only survived from his monetized YouTube stuff in these days.
Yeah, I noticed it in his video, the clip that you showed. There should be a link to it in the notes for the listeners. But when he talks, he's looking all over the place. His eyes are roaming around, which is indicative of being high on something.
Yeah, he definitely reminds me of a lot of meth addicts that I've come across.
Less scary, maybe, but
There is still a Quasi Luminous channel, though, it's up in question if it's actually his or just an impersonator's. In any case, it hasn't posted anything in about a year, at least probably longer, actually. With this guy, you never know. It could have been him who deleted the original channel, but his channel did get banned at one point. He came back on another channel, and this one is called Mr. Satan. You could go check it out. He doesn't post anything on there. Yeah, he doesn't do any posting anymore. But there's still many more that carry the torch of the Flat Earth Society stuff that like connected to Blood Over Intent. There's one channel called, hold on, let me look, Flat Earth Paradise YouTube channel. His presence is still within the movement. It's just faded, but the BOI cult doesn't need a leader. It carries on just fine.
He never claimed to be entirely luminous, just quasi-luminous. So really, we should cut the guy some slack.
yeah, he didn't lie.
That's a good point. So for better for worse, he embodies the power of digital platforms to amplify obscure ideas and create global movements.
Heyo.
Mark's rise to prominence highlights the intersection of spirituality, conspiracy theories, and the internet in the 21st century. To his loyal followers, he remains a beacon of truth, while to his critics, he's a cautionary tale whose dangerous rhetoric exploits the vulnerable. To anyone with half a brain, this guy is obviously unhinged, and the elevator doesn't go quite to the top, if you know what I mean.
Tim, I think the elevator actually gets to the top quite frequently. It's the lack of access to the middle floors. That's the problem.
Oh my gosh. And I listened to this guy's rant for research. I definitely don't recommend it. Like, if you want to go listen to that whole video that we gave you a clip of, go ahead if you want, but I mean, you're gonna lose some brain cells.
He's like here and there and everywhere, and then sometimes hits space, and then sometimes is like way out in outer space, even though outer space is fake and not real.
It serves as a dark reminder of the dangerous appeal of charismatic leaders who promise to reveal hidden knowledge and the unchecked influence they can wield in the digital age.
I'm offended.
Crazy people can vomit their rhetoric across the internet with little obstacle. Also, make sure to never hire this guy as a plumber.
Unless it's at a dirt cheap discount, in which case, just let the market make these decisions.
He will pee in your sink. Many members regret their decision to join BOI after developing a deeper knowledge into the movement and getting a taste of the darker aspects of the cult. Especially after coming across the founder, Mark Braun.
He just won't share his boofing stash. That's all. You don't gotta hate him. He's just selfish.
Oh, yeah.
It's for his butt.
Despite being an online-only kind of a deal, BOI is not easy to leave, and many members get paranoid and anxious over the whole blood magic stuff, the contract that they made with Mark to join the group, because the paranoia is for good reason.
Yeah, don't mess around with blood. I mean, that's a serious thing. Even if the guy that's talking about it doesn't know what he's doing, it's still like a very serious...
Well, the other cult members will harass you because they all saw you post your video.
They're all bound. Like, the magic is real, but
not even on the esoteric level. In reality, you'll get harassed and attacked by these people.
I know, but that's because they're doing real magic. But like, for the reasons and the intent behind it is like, even if it's silly, you're still getting into some deep shit, whether you know it or not.
Yeah, these people are assholes.
But if you'd like to hear about these assholes and the things they do to members who are trying to leave, but especially if you'd like to hear about blood magic itself and some of the esoteric nuance that comes with what blood does, magically speaking, then you're gonna have to visit www.patreon.com/thewholerabbit, where your monthly donation of just $5 will not only get you unlimited access to our fully extended episodes, including this one, and keep in mind these extended episodes exist in voluminous library format in our archives on Patreon. They go back all the way before the quarantine times. That's pretty much forever ago. I'll send you a 5x5 high quality vinyl sticker of our big bunny Baphomet cover, and you'll get the secret keys to our Discord server where we do tarot pools every day and play Scrabble and hang out during these dark times of crises in the days before the sun turns black and the lightning falls from the sky like so much drank from a styrofoam cup in the swollen fist of a rapper.
And don't eat top ramen in hell.
But if you do, remember, eat carrots and shoot lasers.
Pew pew pew.